I cannot continue conversation anymore. Vegana Abramovich, you are delusional. You are spreading lies. You are completely
Tristan,
delusional.
you don't know Bible.
You do not
Tristan,
know.
you don't know Bible.
Yes, and you do not know
And
much.
study Orthodox Church history a little bit.
What's going on, Veganica? She's coming on.
Hello.
Yeah. It's great to have you back. Thank you very much for coming on. Now, this is a debate that was initiated by Veganica, who's got a YouTube channel, which I will make sure to put in the description of this video as soon as I get a chance to. Veganica has told Mr. J. Dyer and I that she wishes to debate us about Christianity and veganism. And that's the topic today, right?
Yes, because actually too many people associate veganism with atheism, which I'm trying to fighting with this kind of image. And recently I had a debate on God existence with a vegan atheist. In fact, I think I won that debate. I don't know whether you checked that debate or not, but I am a believer, but okay, I don't know whether you want to hear my story and my current stance, or we can just go directly to our main topic of today. And of course, I wanted to debate you guys on those topics, and I don't think it's going to be, we can exhaust this topic within 1 hour, because I heard so many things from you. Recently I checked especially Jay's channel. So he said many things, especially about veganism. So I think I have also to say many things, but I think as for the first time, I see Jay the first time, I'll try to say as little as possible. Yes, just let's focus maybe on some arguments or some maybe words of Jesus. Let's analyze them together. And I don't know whether you want to follow my path and you want me to dominate a little bit and like give you, maybe the opposite. Maybe you will.
Since it's a so-called debate, why don't you go ahead and you give your opening statement and what you think is your explanation and argument for your position. So you can
and if you would like, you can also preface that with, you mentioned you wanted to possibly tell us a little bit about yourself. If you'd like, you can include that, and we'll go ahead and give an introduction and your arguments, and we'll just sit back and. And
I'm not being rude. I'm going to get coffee. I can hear what you're saying, so you can go ahead.
And this is soy milk, so I'm not being rude either. That's I milked the soy this morning.
Okay, maybe just one claim I need to make at the beginning, because I already noticed in the chat there is one troll who is always commenting whenever she sees me, and she's trying to spread misinformation about me. She's trying to prove that I'm not true vegan. So I just want to claim I am vegan. And the girl living in Cyprus, which is, I don't know, probably more than 1,000 kilometers from me, she claims that she knows better than what I am eating. So I just confirm I'm.
Okay, well, let's not worry about who's in the chat, because there's going to be loads of people in the chat that we all disagree with. So let's just ignore the chat, and we can just talk about our conversation here. I'm not going to even. I won't engage with the chat unless there's super chats that we'll read, and we'll go ahead and listen to your arguments. And I would suggest, if the chat distracts you, maybe just minimize it.
No, I don't watch. I just only saw that she is there, so I know what are her claims and what she's trying to, what kind of information she's trying to spread. So this is wrong, okay? And okay, so first of all, maybe I would like to ask you, Jay, what do you mean by calling veganism is cult? Cult? I think some people even call this religion, but I heard this expression cult so many times also from you guys. What does it mean that vegan is cult, veganism is cult? I know even the expression vegan kill cult from Galen Farms also. And so what does it mean? This is weird to me.
I mean, I would think it'd be pretty obvious what it means. It means that it has all the elements of a religious commitment that everything else is interpreted through. So the products that you buy, the way that you view the world, the obsession as to how you have to champion this and you have to shut down farms. And I mean, it operates with all of the fervor of a religious movement and cult. And it takes the place of everything else in the sense that you're going to, I'm guessing, I don't know what your view is, but you're going to interpret Christianity through the assumptions of veganism when what I would just ask you is, what do you mean by Christianity? Because we know what Christianity is from the history of the church. And if you're talking about some kind of new Christianity that you're importing into it, then that wouldn't really be Christianity. That would be a sect or a cult. And that's why in the history of Christianity, the history of the church, especially in the first few centuries, veganism was condemned because it was always part of religious groups like Brahmanism, Pythagoreanism, or heretical groups like the Encratites. They all adopted vegan arguments because they thought that the God of the Old Testament, who allowed the Israelites, or Noah and the Israelites, to eat animals, was the evil God. And that's a heretical Gnostic doctrine. And so the New Testament is very clear that all animals are clean. There are no unclean animals. Paul says you can eat whatever kinds of animals. In fact, he tells the Colossians that anyone who comes along and tries to forbid the eating of flesh is a heretic. So there's not a whole lot of debate about this topic from a Christian perspective. So my question would just simply be, if it's not a cult, what kind of Christianity are you talking about?
No, we are talking about veganism, whether it's cult, because the major feature of any cult is worship. So what do we worship? I know, actually I am able to answer this question, but are you able to answer this question? In your opinion, what do we worship? Because cult, religion, the main feature, because you...
So I'm not trying to mean
you know...
Did you hear anything that I said?
Yes, I heard, but you didn't answer what we worship.
You asked me why is it a cult, and I gave you the reasons why it's a cult.
I wouldn't mind answering that.
Not very precise definition.
Oh, okay. Well, he did give you a very precise definition of a cult. It's the worldview, the lens through which you interpret the reality, right? And that determines how you're going to interpret phenomenon around you, how you're going to interpret things like Scripture. Right, so veganism being the predominant worldview through which you interpret all of reality would make it a cult. But I would say, if you're asking me what do vegans worship, I would say there are many different types of veganism. It's not like a monolithic thing, but in general, vegans worship a false god. Many vegans seem to worship animals. They worship their own self, their own mind, their own subjective opinions on how the world and how creation should be ordered. But I mean, that's not really our argument. I'm just answering your question of what I think vegans worship. I don't know what you personally worship. I'm not sure what your idea of what Christianity is. I'm not sure what your ideas about God really are. But I am sure that veganism as a worldview, veganism as a legalistic framework for behavior, for morality, for interpreting the world, for your political views, is completely cult-like and is antithetical to Christianity and is condemned by the church fathers who assembled the canons, who assembled the very Bible that you claim to be following and that many vegans claim to be quoting and interpreting in order to make their arguments. But that's not my argument. That's my answer to your question. So I'm trying to figure out what your argument is rather than just the questions.
Yes, thank you very much. Because worldview is not yet a cult. Yes, we worship. I think we have just one in common, because you are right that vegans are so much different. We have so much different worldviews, but just one thing we have in common. Yes, we all worship justice.
Right, justice. Social justice, this idea, the secular idea of social justice.
Like ultimate justice.
Justice, and who determines what justice is? Who determines what is right or wrong?
Okay, so you think, so what is, in your opinion...
Did you hear my question? Did you hear my question?
I can say, okay, let's call it God, okay?
No, did you?
And what we worship, in fact, is God, because we worship justice, we worship mercy. We worship love, compassion. So we worship all the features
I'm
of
asking
God.
you what you mean by
Really,
justice.
in
What do
reality,
you
we do worship.
listen, Veganica? Do you hear me? Yeah, I'm asking you what you mean by justice and what you mean by these terms. I mean, these are not defined terms. Who determines what is justice, what is mercy, and where does that concept come from? I'm trying to figure out what you mean by these terms.
You know that my animals even understand it perfectly when I see they have so much strong sense of fairness and justice. I'm watching there and I see this is embedded even in animals. This is just the sense of justice and ethics is embedded in
So
our
animals that eat their young, is that just
Animals that rape and murder,
What-
yeah.
I can talk about animals which I am directly observing, and I see
okay? That I mean,
animals do many terrible
this is
things.
way
They are
going
afraid when
nowhere.
they need
This
to
is-
survive. But
Okay, this is going nowhere. What when you say God, when you say Christianity, how do you know what that is or who that is? Who is that God? Where do you derive this from? It sounds like it's all just kind of what you think.
I think the less you claim to know about God, the more true person
Okay.
you are.
Why do you think that? Where do you get that from?
Because we know very, very little, but that's not the case that we know nothing. We know something. We know something. Even in my debate, my previous debate, I really gave very solid arguments why the God does exist, what he really did, and this is what I know. But there are so many things that we don't know, but people are cheating that they do know. They make so many claims, fake, false claims about God, which we can so easily disprove. We can so easily prove they are wrong. They are so wrong. I would say say that you believe
How do you do
the
this?
Bible.
I mean, you're just talking. You haven't made any arguments. You're just talking, giving your feelings.
I say that the ethics, sense of justice we have embedded means God embedded his way of thinking, his values.
Okay.
His values embedded
How do you
in
know?
his
How do you know who
we
God is?
discover this.
How do you
By
know who God is?
contemplating, we are discovering this, and this is much more solid source of knowledge about
But
God
that's not
than
a solid
Bible.
source. So what you feel in your inner self can be wrong. You just said that we can all be wrong about God. So what is the public objective way that we can appeal to things about God or knowing about God that you would look to? How do you know who God is?
Wow. We know
Do you
very,
understand
very little
the-
about God. And
Do you understand the
anybody who
difference
claims
between
more
something
is
objective and
lying.
a subjective appeal? Do you know what that means?
Okay, you want to claim that the
Do you
Bible.
understand the difference between something objective and a subjective appeal? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Okay, so everything you've said is within the domain of subjective things, right? What you think about God, how do we know what is objectively the case? Where do we go to find out what God teaches?
So strange that Jesus didn't have such dilemma, and he directly talked to people knowing that they do know.
What?
So Jesus teaches us things from the Bible, right? And through the church.
We know very often opposite to Bible and say,
No,
fuck those
Jesus never.
words,
Jesus
because
never
you
teaches
know
anything.
inside you which
So
is
here's the
right, which is
problem.
good.
Here's the problem. You don't have Christianity. You have something else that you think is contrary to the Bible. You can't
Yes,
have
right now, I wouldn't call myself Christianity, although I was deeply in Christianity. I was even
Okay, so
how do you call
weren't you just debating?
Artemis? Sorry,
Weren't you just debating for God's existence with somebody?
I was debating. Yes.
So who is this God? If it's contrary to the Bible, then it's not the teaching of Jesus. Who is this God?
Yeah, Bible is not any serious source, any important source of
Okay, how do you know that?
God.
So what is your
How do I
argument
know
against
that?
the Bible?
how do I know that? Okay, let's just try to read Bible, read Genesis, and it's not about that. Okay, I can't find it. Where are you?
So
It's not about. But listen to me. It's not that this is like childish language. This is not the explanation of the creation to people who have no idea about anything, to primitive people. There are serious mistakes. Like someone who wrote it had no idea about reality, about nature.
Oh, so
about
so
the
you get to
concept of God.
determine what reality is, what
Yeah,
so-called
see,
nature is. This
we know,
this is up to
we
you.
know, yes.
Right,
Who's
but
we?
it is
We
you
know
that
what is light. For example, we know what light is.
No,
Yes,
we
we know
don't.
that you cannot. There are such
Actually,
things
no,
which are
we
Who's
don't.
we? Who is we? We
there
don't
are
know.
things which are complete nonsense. Because
Yeah, I
there was
agree with
something-
that. You are talking
the God
complete
divided
nonsense.
light from darkness, which is not.
Wait, you just rejected the Bible and now you're going to quote the Bible? You just rejected the Bible, now you're going to use the Bible to justify your claims. Yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
because
Okay, so the debate, like, there's what? How can we debate if you're going to reject the very source that you're quoting for your knowledge claims that you're making? You categorically reject the source of knowledge that you're quoting from.
How do you know the mindset of Jesus when the Bible
I have been
Bible has error?
contemplating mindset of Jesus probably much deeper than you. I'm sure.
Okay, good for you.
I
Good
know
for
his
you.
mindset.
You're a person who has mental problems. I'm not trying to be mean to you, but
I
what
don't
you're
have
saying
mental
makes
problems.
absolutely no sense.
You're confused.
Because you just said that you don't believe the Bible is full of errors, but you contemplate and know the mind of Jesus. There's no other way to know the mind of Jesus apart from what's revealed in
Right,
Scripture.
you're imagining an imaginary Jesus. You're imagining an imaginary God. And
Yeah, you're worshiping your mind.
so you asked earlier what vegans worship. I can't tell you what vegans worship, but it seems like from what you've told us now, you worship the illusions and the phantasms and the vain imaginations of your mind. That's what it seems like you are worshiping. And it's really sad that you're going to argue from that position, deny that the Bible is legitimate, and then quote the Bible to try to legitimize your illegitimate claims. So there's no real reason to debate. You said we need more than an hour. I mean, maybe you believe you have more than an hour that you can babble incoherently through, but you've made zero sense so far, and I feel it's.
You think so?
I would say yes. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have an argument?
So how
Do you
come
have?
that on our last meeting, when I told you about ritual slaughter, which comes from the Bible, but you didn't know where it comes from. Fortunately, you didn't know because you automatically because you have embedded the sense of justice in your nature, in God embedded in you. So why you didn't know that this is Bible? You said this is satanic ritual. You called because you reacted very correctly. You reacted to hearing about sadism, about horrible things. You reacted correctly. So how you knew it is satanic? How did you know this is demonic? Because yes, how can I say the Bible is coming from God if, for example, the book of Leviticus it's demonic. It's of demonic origin.
Okay, so now the
So
Bible
you
is
just said
demonic.
everything in the first 5 minutes when you asked me what a cult is, and I told you that the heretical groups teach that the God of the Old Testament is evil. You just affirmed the very thing that I said, right? I said that
Because
they
it is. Unless you
on
must
what,
be.
so hold on.
You say
I know
this
you
is
think
good,
that. We know you
Dyer.
think that. I want to know on what basis you think that. And that's what you're not doing. You're just saying this stuff. You're just making sentences. You're just saying things. I want to know why and on what basis the God of the
Okay.
Old Testament is evil.
Why I know that sadism, tortures are evil. How I know it? Okay, so basic things where ethics come from at the
Yeah.
first place. At
Where
the
does it
first
come
place,
from?
Where-
if you don't know, if you have no idea,
I'm asking you for your
I'll
position.
tell you
Don't-
where
tell me.
ethics and how we can judge what is good, what is wrong. If you are not sure if tortures are good, just put yourself in the position. If you want it, if you feel this is what I want, wish for myself, that means this is good. If you say no way, I want it.
That's
not
insane.
an
That's madness. So
Subjective appeal.
yeah, so you're saying whatever you want is good. So we want to eat
Whatever
animals.
you think you wish to
hold on,
set
hold
up
on.
on your-
If whatever we want to be good, whatever we desire, if that makes it good, first of all, that's the argument that all the vegan atheists make. So you're making the same vegan, atheist, moral relativist, utilitarian claim of me wanting something and desiring it makes it good. Well, if we were to assume that, which is madness, we don't assume that. I can't hear you. You have to listen. You got to stop and listen for a minute. If you're going to assume that, and you're going to assume that for us, and we were going to make that terrible assumption, then just us wanting to eat animals makes it good. And us wanting to do anything would make it good. This is why Jay said that when you're the worldview that you're espousing right now leads to mental illness. And this is why in between this conversation and the last conversation we had, it seems like you've kind of lost the plot even more. And I think that's really unfortunate. And I think that's really sad. As somebody who last time we talked, you claimed to be a Christian. Now you deny God altogether. And you've gone into this mad utilitarian, essentially wild Gnostic worldview. You've become Vegana Abramovich, basically. And you believe that you just get to make it all up. And that's really sad. And I don't understand why you think you can even debate coming from that position. Like, why do you want to debate?
Maybe because God is listening to almost all my prayers. He did so many, he gave so many proofs that I am right. He's listening to all my prayers. He gave me so many miracles. Maybe he hoped that maybe you will be open enough to listen to his word. Maybe God wanted to talk to you through me.
So we all have public revelation, and that's the point of things like the Bible and the history and teaching of the church, is that in order to avoid everybody being their own little God and thinking that they're a prophet, we have a public thing that we can look to and know, and that's how God is protecting us, for example, from being led into delusion. The idea that whatever I believe is what God is moving me to know and to believe is delusion. You see how that can be dangerous?
You see how it can be dangerous? What you are saying, do you know the history of Orthodox Church and Catholic Church? Do you know how much blood they have on their hands? And do you know that Orthodox Church...
Wait a minute, you're just throwing out stuff. What do you mean blood on the heart? You're throwing out stuff. Okay, this is going
So we know that this is wrong, what you say.
Marina.
You can't just throw out these things like the church has blood on their hands. What are you even talking about?
Yes, so that means that you are wrong. This is not correct. There is a man who will tell us.
I don't know how do I have blood on my hands?
Prove that we have blood on our hands. Show us.
Actually, yes, you have blood.
Look, where?
Animals' blood.
I have blood in my hands, in my body. There is blood, but not on my hands. Look, they're clean. See that? I got milk on my mouth.
Yes,
So
I know.
Do you understand that a subjective appeal is a fallacy? It doesn't work as an argument. Do you understand why that is?
Do you know how dangerous is what you say? That there is a man and you must listen to the man.
You got to answer the question. Please answer the question.
Do you understand why a subjective appeal is a fallacy?
Okay, so you are subjective when you think, I believe that it is okay to kill animal because
Not a subjective
this is subjective.
appeal.
Objectively,
I'm appealing to a public believed revelation in history, the church, the Bible. All right, so it's not a subjective. You may think it's wrong.
the church who murdered, who did so many atrocities.
But it's not a subjective appeal, right? So I know you don't believe it, but it's different from saying that, well, if I put myself in the shoes of the animals, it's what I would want. Okay, that's a subjective appeal, and that doesn't work as an argument. Do you see the difference between the two?
Can we read, maybe, can we
So
check Jesus?
There's no point.
Say things, you just move on and don't listen to what's said.
This is the thing. There's no point in continuing this debate with you if you're not going to answer any of the questions we have. If you're not going to even make an argument, you're going through a list of your own subjective appeals, and you're just stating claims without being able to back up any of these claims. And then when we ask you to back up these claims and justify them, you move on to the next ridiculous claim. So, I mean,
why do you think it's objectively right to listen to the guy who is your teacher if objectively we know they are wrong? We know how terrible.
You just did what I just.
You haven't given
You
an
just
argument
did.
to show how this is wrong.
Putin knows wrong.
You haven't shown it's wrong. You're just saying that.
Look, you have a child,
You're going
don't
to have
you?
to present an argument.
Do you have a child? You have a child, right?
Sorry?
You have a child, don't you?
Yes. So,
Yeah.
good one.
And you feed your child a vegan diet?
He's vegan.
Okay.
Okay, but
And how long? Hold on. Do you have an argument? Because I've got about 5 minutes of patience left for this, and then we're going to open up the lines. And if anyone else wants to call in who actually has an argument, they can call in. But this is fruitless.
Can I read Jesus' opinion?
You can.
Some of Jesus' opinions. Can I read the Bible a little bit for you?
No, because you've already rejected the Bible.
Yeah.
So why are we going to listen to you saying that a text that is our text that you don't believe?
But I told you that I have been deeply, and I was an what is the word, anchoress for 2 years, and I have contemplating Jesus' mindset for many years.
But this is delusion.
And I understand, and I
How do you know? How do you know that you're not delusional? How do you know? How do you know?
You have a delusion.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be mean and being honest. That's literally what I think is the situation here.
You will recognize by fruits, and we know that
the fruits are delusion. The fruits are
Catholic Church is terrible.
Fruit
So I
has
think
to be consistent with the rest of what's revealed in Scripture. Okay, so you can't say that whatever I feel is the fruit.
so. How possible that the guys who, after all, who established the canon of Old Testament were guys who didn't accept Jesus as a savior, because those were Jewish guys who rejected him. They established this canon in about 100 years. So
you're jumping all over the place. So now you're
rejected
So
Jesus.
you got like a list of Bible.
They were enough, inspired by the God to say.
Marina, calm down.
Yes.
Marina, look, you're not making any sense, and you're not following what's going on in the conversation here. I'm sorry to say this, but you've become much more delusional since the last time we spoke. And this is not being fruitful. You said we should judge this by the fruits. The fruits of this are you're going in circles. It's fruitless. There's no point in us continuing this. You deny the Bible. You deny the Bible, and then you want to quote the Bible to justify your claims about morality. There's no point in continuing this conversation.
Because when you see that Bible is promoting atrocity, killing kids, do you know that is promoting abortion also, the Bible?
No.
In many places, yes. So I cannot defend it anymore.
I cannot continue conversation anymore. Vegana Abramovich, you are delusional. You are spreading lies. You are completely delusional.
Tristan, you don't know Bible.
You do not know.
You don't know Bible.
Yes, and you do not know much.
Study Orthodox Church history a little bit.
You're completely incoherent. I speak to you only in your accent for rest of this. You have disrespected us. You have disrespected God. And you are lost, and you are in what is called pre-lest. Vegana Abramovich. Please get help for you and son. This conversation with you may not continue.
Yeah. So I would agree that, I mean, when we have a nutrient deficient diet, we are led into, our brains don't work right.
And this shows, I mean, if you guys go back, we talked maybe 3 months ago.
Okay,
and in between now and 3 months ago.
Channel.
Yeah, you can go talk on your channel. That's great. We talked 3 months ago. 3 months ago, and you've become much more delusional since then. Please stop doing this. Please stop putting yourself through this. Don't put your son through this. You're hurting yourself. You need cholesterol. You need animal foods.
I have much cholesterol.
You have much cholesterol. You need much more.
But you know that cholesterol doesn't cross brain-blood barrier. So I hope you don't cheat people that you need cholesterol to get cholesterol to your brains. I hope at least you don't cheat people in this field.
Look, there's no point in continuing this. You're not listening to what we're saying. You're not responsive. It's really sad. So thank you for coming on.
Okay, thank you.
I wish you the best, and I really hope you get help, and I really hope you start eating animals again. And please feed your son some steaks. Please go get a big tub of butter. Give that to your son. Because you're not helping yourself, you're not helping your boy, and you're harming yourself. And I'm sorry for mocking you, but you know what? You need help, and I hope you get the help you need, all right?
You also need help.
Great, I do, and I know who my physician
Jesus
is.
will tell you, I don't know you.
Yeah, okay.
This is what you will hear.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
Veganica Abramovich. Wow, that was, I'm sorry, guys. That That was ridiculous.